Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Nightcap. Something a little different for y'all today. I know normally we have a lot of stuff that we like to talk about and bullshit about. Today I figured we take a different approach and we would respond on some of the comments that some of you guys have been leaving on the shorts and episodes that we've been doing. Some have been very good, some have not, but I figured we'd take some time and respond on both. But before we get to that, kind of want to address this elephant in the room. As you notice, we got a lot of shit in here that says Compton Brewhouse on it. Just so happens that these are people Lamont knows, that he went out to a venue that they held earlier in the month. And so he came back with some samples for us. He got us some really nice cups. He obviously got us some brews from the Compton Brewhouse along with some kick-ass shirts.
Yes, and these mediocre coasters.
I was going to address that later. I didn't want to just put them on blast immediately. But now that you mention it, please do explain to us and tell us how you know these guys and what we got going here.
Yeah, so I went to high school with Gerardo and Robert, way back when. And a few years back, they pretty much started their own beer. Gerardo was telling me that one day he was just drinking and talking to his wife, and his wife kind of, planted the bug in his ear and told him, babe, why don't you start your own beer? And so that's how it all started. And I didn't know about it until about 2 years ago. One of our mutual friends, Roman, who lives in Arizona now, he kind of told me about it and stuff when I went out to visit him last year. And he actually hit me up a few weeks back about this event, was telling me about it. So I was just like, you know what? I ain't doing shit. It's the weekend. Fuck it. Take a drive down there, which kind of sucked. I wish he told me a little earlier because I would have flew. But drove down, showed my support, bought some merch, seen a bunch of my homies from high school. Back from our party days, because we were all in a party crew together. So we got to catch up and talk about a lot of stories and see that these men are married and have families now, and so it was pretty cool.
The party crew.
Yeah, we were in a party crew.
You're gonna have to explain that to me a little bit later.
Rockefellers.
The Rock. All right, so let's get into this. So what kind of beers do we have here, man?
Yeah, so right here we have the Compton Brewhouse Pilsner, and then that is the lager.
All right.
Yeah, they had another one. It was a CBD, but that one, that shit tasted good too. But that one kind of went fairly quickly, so I didn't get a case of that or a jar of that.
Now, I do like the bottle. On the back of the bottle, instead of having like a nutritional facts label and stuff like that, it says this. It says Compton Brewhouse. 2 natives, 1 goal to make great beer for the city. And then it has a suggestion list here on when to drink our beer.
That's right.
One of them, chilling with our homies, celebrations, Laker game, Dodger game, block is hot, baby mama drama,
that's today,
and Sunday fun day.
Yeah.
So nice variety. Basically, it touches on every day of the week.
Then they got the little map of the city, Compton back there, and then it says, "Thank you for your purchase. With your help, we can continue to brew beer that we can all enjoy." And then it has their website down there in case any of you want to buy any merch.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into this, man. Let's give it a shot.
Yes, sir.
I do like these cups. The cups are nice.
I do too. Although I wish they had a bigger size, but they're nice. And I mean, I want to say it was like $6-7. It's not bad for the cup.
And now you said mine was the lager. All right.
Yeah.
Well, salud. Let's give it a shot here to the Compton Brewhouse. Not bad at all. So, full disclosure, and for anybody that knows me, they know that I'm a Belgian white ale type of guy, right? Mm-hmm. So Blue Moon, Shock Top, things of that nature. So normally just a regular lager is not my cup of tea. But this doesn't have like a strong like lager aftertaste in it. So to me, pretty damn good. It's pretty smooth. I like it.
And this Pilsner is pretty good and it's smooth. It doesn't have a lot of that gassy like some of them. After you drink, you get that gassy and you want to start burping. Mm-hmm. You don't have that. It's pretty good. I like it. I like it. Yeah.
All right. So Compton Brewhouse, thank you. We appreciate it.
Cheers.
Now, to get into the nuts and butts of the fucking episode here.
Yeah, go ahead.
The first comment that I wanted to brush on It was on the Shocking Paternity Revelation, Not the Father short. And it was from a user viewer, Wise Words by Wiki, who stated that like our view on it was anecdotal. He said it was anecdotal at best. That 30% of men basically get tested because they have reason to get tested, right? They're already under suspicion of believing that they're not the father or court order, things of those natures, right? And I get it, and you're right. You're absolutely correct. The thing that we need to acknowledge when it comes to numbers like that is the fact that, like, yeah, you're right. People go because of certain reasons.
Right.
But that doesn't change the fact that throughout the nation, it's basically a 1 in 25 men that aren't the father of their children. That's heavy.
Exactly.
That's heavy. So when you take that 33% and break it down, it averages out to a small percentage. It's only like 1 to like 3.7%. But that's still men that aren't the father.
But I want to address the elephant in the room. This guy came out with all this and saying that we're anecdotal and yada 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 because these men are going down there because they have a reason. But that doesn't debunk what we're saying, which is that their women still lied to them, and if they never had that reason to go down there, they would have raised this child as if it was theirs unknowingly. Right. So that's the whole basis of our argument, is that the lies part.
Right. And the viewpoint that he was taking was a cup half empty or half full view, right? Yeah. Is it half full because these men are right that wasn't their kid, or is it half empty because these men are wrong because it's not there? Like,
I get it, but wrong is wrong. Period. I don't care what sex you are or what color you are or any of that. It's just wrong. If the shoe was on the other foot and we was lying to chicks and telling them that it's their kid and they had to take care of it, that shit's wrong too.
Right.
You know?
Yep. Do you have one? We'll kind of go back and forth.
No, I don't. Go? Keep going.
All right. Another short that we had, it was off of the California minimum wage bill controversy. Oh, now we had a couple people on this one comment, so most of my comments are going to be on that. This one was from Yami Fly ZX.
That's a strange name, but okay.
It's fresh. It's unique. It's original. I'll take it. I like it.
It should sound like an anime.
Right. Yeah, maybe. So this person's argument was that market prices are determine the wages far more than I'm sorry. Let me rephrase. The market determines wages far more than the prices. My bad. To an extent, I will say yes. The market does kind of determine what people get paid in certain aspects, right? Like if you're a doctor, obviously you're getting paid a lot because doctors need to get paid for the amount of stuff they deal with.
Right.
However, when it comes to a consumer-based market, you got to understand a lot of corporations, they have a specific profit margin that they want to hit regardless.
Right? And they're going to hit it.
So if the minimum wage, let's say, gets bumped from $15 to $20 an hour, and let's say X corporation was used to and accustomed to making this amount of profit, then all they're going to do is they're going to raise their profit margin higher, the price, so that they could still achieve that.
So two things going to happen when that happens. The company is either going to adjust their profit margins, so they're going to increase the prices to continue to make, let's say, 40%. They expect to make 40% return on whatever it is they're spending. Mm-hmm. So they're going to adjust the prices to continue to make that 40%, and or they're going to downsize, which means layoffs, so they can continue to make that money. Right. So either way, people are fucked. The ordinary people who go to work every day are fucked. Right. And I don't understand people that are trying to combat what we're saying. Like, I get it. People need to make more money. Of course we do. Like we all want to make more money, of course. But when the government is stepping in and forcing people to pay a certain amount per hour to their employees so that those employees could, quote unquote, have a better life or lifestyle, the problem is not the amount of money they're getting paid. The problem is the amount of money they have to spend to have a life and a lifestyle and to survive. And that shit don't matter when all they're gonna do is adjust the prices after they get the raise. So they're still gonna be in the same boat. Because all that's gonna happen is what? We're seeing it now. Rent goes up, gas goes up, food goes up. So you're right in the same boat. You didn't really make more money because now you're spending more.
And then you also got to think of the harm that it could potentially cause a lot of these smaller, non-corporated, mom and pop type of stores,
Yep.
Where they don't have the luxury of operating at such a large profit loss margin, where now they're forced to pay more, but they can't charge more because they know there's bigger corporations people could go to
Right.
get what they want at a cheaper price. It's going to hurt them as well. So
It makes it harder for them to be competitive in the
Yeah.
market because they're smaller.
the days
So-
of mom and pop shops,
Yeah, because I mean, mom and pop
are
shops,
dying.
what they go to fucking Costco to buy their everyday necessities versus someone like what a fucking Denny's orders their shit straight from the manufacturer or whatever, so they get it for wholesale price.
So for example, let's say I own a small mom and pop style grocery store. Well, let's say I go to a place like Sam's Club to buy my shit in bulk,
Right.
because Sam's Club could sell it cheaper in bulk because they buy it even cheaper than that in bulk.
Exactly.
So they're still making their profit margin,
Right.
i.e., they're still making the money they're supposed to be making. But meanwhile, I'm still taking a loss because even though I'm buying it at a discounted rate, it's still not as cheap as what they're getting it for. So they're always going to have an abundance over me. And if my prices can't compete with theirs on the back end, i.e., Walmart, then people are just going to go to Walmart instead of my grocery store.
And then the domino effect is not even like being noticed. Like a lot of these folks that comment as if we don't know what we're talking about are just like airheads and it's going over them. You have small businesses that's going to go out of business because of this. So then those business owners, what happens to them?
Well, they got to find a job
Do
somewhere
they have to
else.
become an employee now somewhere? But then you have employers laying people off because they don't want to pay the $20 neither.
Yeah.
So then now you have a bunch of people on unemployment. So none of this shit is good for society. My biggest question to everybody is why the fuck the prices got to change anyway?
I mean, Arizona cans have been 99 cents forever and a day, even though the price of aluminum changes, right? So, I mean, it's a good question to have.
That's my biggest question. Why does these prices have to fluctuate and change?
Another comment that's kind of on the adverse side of what we were just talking about. Same short, and it came from Paul Martin. And he said, we should just get rid of minimum wage.
Wow.
Now, I like the outward thinking.
Right.
However, you got to keep in mind, like, it's not something that's feasibly going to work, because then what are all these big corporations like we were just talking about are going to do? What's to stop them from all getting together and saying, all right, well, there's no minimum wage. Hey, how about if I don't offer my guys more than 15, you don't offer them more than 15. Now we can control the market.
Right.
Now you're going to get a bunch of companies charging bullshit ass wages like they do in fucking Indonesia or Taiwan,
Right.
places like that. And these
They're all working
sweatshops where you're getting pennies on the dollar to fucking work.
And
What's to stop them then if you don't have a set minimum wage? So I do believe you do need to have a set minimum wage. I just think that it needs to be something that's comparable with the way that prices are in the economy at that time. It shouldn't be outrageous. Like, you shouldn't get $20 an hour for dipping fries in oil at fucking McDonald's. Like, I'm sorry, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
If you are of that sound mind of thinking, then you need to be replaced.
I don't want to offend any McDonald's workers out there, but I mean, that's like an entry level job. That's a high school, college.
It is where
job.
you get
like,
your foundation from.
It's entry level, you know? And then some people make a career out of it by staying and then eventually
moving up. General managers.
Eventually getting their own McDonald's. I know a lot of people have done that, which that makes sense. You know, you work your way up into becoming a franchise owner, but it's just fucking hard Because it's fucked up that people actually have to go to those jobs as actual careers because there isn't enough other jobs out there for us. So it's a tough subject to touch on because it's almost like there is no right, there is no wrong. We just have to find that silver lining.
Yeah.
But we're never gonna find that when we keep allowing the people in charge to make the rules and set the rules and shit. And then they also play us because they'll say one thing and make it look like something and it's not. Like fucking Gavin Newsom in California, he's just fucking everybody over. He's the one who put that bill into play for $20 an hour, and then he turns around and he doesn't even pay his employees at his restaurant $20 an hour.
I'm glad you mentioned him because another response that we had, one of the comments, actually came from somebody discussing him, and it was on the same short, the California minimum wage bill controversy, and it was from a Greg Poyer. There's no Y, so I don't want to say it's Poyer. It's Poer at the end. So I'm sorry if I butchered it and messed it up.
Probably poor.
Poor. That's what I thought was poor. Said, hasn't Newsom done worse?
Yeah.
And my response to you is in every way imaginable.
Yeah. I don't understand why you guys aren't in Sacramento protesting. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand people at UCLA protesting for Palestine and Israel. What's going on over there is fucked up. It's a travesty. But it's also sad to see that there's shit that goes on in your own backyard and no one says anything. I mean, just look at here. We live in Vegas. We live in Nevada. We have so many people moving away from California. They're moving here. Why? Because their economy is so fucked up there because of the politics. But nobody is fighting against it. No, I mean, it's more of you taxpayers there than there is politicians. And you guys actually are the shot callers, but no one is actually pushing against their agenda and saying and demanding like, no, we need to change and this is what we want and this is what we need.
Right.
Instead, they flee. So that's kind of upsetting. But hopefully us as a people and as a nation, we could come together and get this shit right.
The final comment that I had, it came on one of our shorts called Suicide Squad. And it came from Phantom 340.
One was better.
So while we kind of switched it on that short and started actually talking about the movie, the main reason we brought that topic up was because I was actually talking about suicide. And
yeah,
Lamont, he had gotten nervous because I was throwing the word suicide out there so freely that he thought we would get like shadow banned and blocked here on YouTube. He was considering it along the lines of some of the other social media sites that get very paranoid when certain keywords get mentioned, right?
Well, they don't get paranoid. What they do is they just shadow ban you and block
they
your
just
shit.
Don't want people talking about shit that's real.
And so I'm
gonna get to it. Hold on. I want to get this guy's comment out first, though.
Oh, okay, yeah. Read it.
So the reason that happened was because of, like I was just dabbling into, he was worried about these other social media sites and how they react to the word suicide. Because that's how I started off the conversation, was just throwing it out there because it is something serious. And so Phantom 340 said, suicide is the word, unalive, downplays the seriousness of it. Don't be afraid to be objective. Objectivity saves lives. So I want to say to you, good sir, I agree 100%. That is why I said it. And now I will let Lamont brush on why he tried to change it to the unalived that other social media sites kind of require.
So I agree with you and him 1,000,000%. We need to stop sugarcoating shit in this day and age because it's not helping anybody. As you know, we grew up in the 90s and the early 2000s. We got bullied, all that. But what don't kill you makes you stronger. And now we've become this very sensitive ass society where you can't say a certain word, even though the way you're using it is not even that way. Without someone uproaring, saying something, confronting you, reporting you, trying to get you fired, trying to get you banned, trying to ruin your entire life. And it's crazy. So suicide is serious. I agree. I know someone who has committed suicide. You
I
know,
know several.
yes. Unfortunately, my daughter knows someone. She had a classmate last year in middle school do it. So it is serious. It's something we need to really dive into and figure out what the fuck's going on. But I think it's this pussified generation we're in right now that's not helping. But the reason why I try to change the terminology is because a lot of these sites, they monitor what we say. And as you guys know, we're trying to grow our platform. And I just didn't want to mess around and get shadow banned or get the episode banned or blocked or whatever. Someone reports us and all of our hard work for the last, what has it been, 7 months just go down the drain, because that has happened to some people, man. They lose their whole page over something. So, you know, if you felt offended, I apologize, but that's just all it was. It's not me downplaying it. It's just me trying to be politically correct, which I fucking hate. I honestly hate that shit, but that's what it was pretty much.
Political correctness is a disease.
Yeah, that shit's whack as fuck.
And so again, just to summarize this episode, Compton Brewhouse, they did not sponsor us.
Nah.
But Lamont, he wanted to go out and actually support his boys. So he went and he spent money and he bought all this cool ass gear that we got, the shirts, the hat you see him wearing, the jugs, the thing. Everything was great quality aside from these bullshit ass fucking coasters that I think they made.
Maybe one day they'll sponsor us.
Maybe someday. But until then, subscribe, share, and show that you care.